Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I'm Azra Farisha binti Zainal. I'm going to start the presentation with the introduction. So the topic that we have chose is waste management in the Philippines. So waste management can be defined as collection, treatment and disposal of garbage that is discarded because it is no longer used. This definition has been given by Jerry in 2020. Sometimes these wastes are not dumped directly into landfills, but are dumped in open places such as areas near rivers and bush areas. Things like that usually happen in Philippines, and it is undeniable that the people there get less attention related to waste management. Philippines is also one of the countries that is still battling the problem of waste management and remains one of the major problems, especially in urban areas like Metro Manila. With almost 3.0 million metric tons of plastic waste produced every year, the Philippines is ranked as the third largest polluter in the world after Indonesia and China. A study conducted in 2018 also showed that although the Philippines has high rate of garbage and waste collection compared to other Southeast Asian countries, the waste is not disposed properly and it is less conducive because about 70% of the population in the Philippines is not exposed on or does not have access to dumping and disposing of waste garbage. This caused them to take a shortcut and dump in the wrong area, such as near the sea, rivers, and other places possible. So that's all from me. I'm going to pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Asna Afika and I will continue to explain about the factors of the solid waste management in the Philippines. So, solid waste management is one of the most critical issues faced to the development countries, and it can affect both small or large countries. And a large number of the people, it's because of the increase of the population itself. So it can be resulted in the adjustment in the solid waste management results in that area. So solid waste has become the most major problem in the Philippines, and there are several factors that can lead the issue of the Philippines of the solid waste management. So the first one is rapid population growth, urbanization and modernization. So one of the factors have been contribute the issues of the solid waste management because of the rapid of the population growth, urbanization and the modernization. So population have been increased especially in the urban area. So this caused many problems to the human health and environment. So in 2012, the Philippines National Statistics Office (NSO) have been stated that the country population will have an annual growth rate of 1.87%, around 97 million of the population, in which Philippines have been 12th large country in the world. So every day in Philippines have been generated 35,580 tons of the garbage and around 0.5 kilogram and 0.3 kilogram of the garbage each of the person in that country, and have been produced in the urban and rural areas. So in Metro Manila have been estimated that 8,636 tons of garbage have been generated per day. For example, 0.7 kilogram have been produced per person per day due to more modernized lifestyle. So most of the garbage is from plastic and papers, also the little toxic materials, which is that with the toxic material can give the impact to environment and represent the hazard impacts because of the breakdown of their degraded constituent to the ecosystem. So the next factors is disposal of municipal solid waste. So solid waste management is a very important to dispose it properly without giving a big impact to the environment and people health. So the collection and the disposal of municipal solid waste in the urban area is one of the crucial problems while for solid waste management, because if there has no proper solid waste management, it can lead to the serious environmental problem. For example, water, soil, air, and the aesthetic pollution such as increased greenhouse gas emission can be related to the human health disorder. So from the collective data have been made, there's only 40 until 85% of the waste have been created and is collected nationwide and improperly disposed of the trail 15 until 60% only. So uncollected garbage is sadly have been dumped and burned anyway. An open area also can be called as a open burning, open dump, in which can be increased to the polluted air shade, global warming, and the water in that country. So the last one is review of policy related to the solid waste management is one of the factors, the problem or the issue of the solid waste management in the Philippines. So there are several issues about the status of compliance and the issue implementation of the policy. So the Philippine government have made several measures by the improper solid waste management. So to protect the Philippine people, they have might to implement the proper policy. So factors can be contribute to the value of the implementation of the previous policy that related to the solid waste management. The objective of the policy is a very good, which is it improve the solid waste management, but it can become fail because of there do not have enough cooperation from the community and the several stakeholders. That is because the law stated that we're all common and control in the nature. So provision and inner areas of the cities and baranggays, which is lack of the infrastructure of the efficient transportation. It can be contribute in the inefficient implementation and ineffective of monitoring of waste management programs. So because of too much bureaucracy, it involved in the politics and in the political system can be create more corruption and bribery, but also delay the implementation of the rules and regulations. So it's because that they're afraid of the apprehending violators. So Philippines is one of the democratic country and official which they elected based on the popular vote, and also they're afraid people will get annoyed and angry, which can affect the vote during elections. So the original policy have been implemented not successful, and some of the law have been superseded with the enactment of the RA 9003 that contain the provisions and relevant implant and implement of the acts and SWMC 2005A. Also the part of present the issues of status of the implementation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Siti Zulaika binti Syamsul Nur Razman and I am from AM226A and my metric number is 2018-265-278. So today, I will be explain and discuss on the effects of improper solid waste management towards the public health and towards the air quality and also to the water quality. So firstly, I'm going to explain on the effects of the improper solid waste management towards the public health problems. Public health problems be a result of the improper waste disposal and occurs when area of them becomes contaminated with hazardous materials. As we know, when we come in contact with waste, it causes a skin irritation and blood infections. We also contract diseases from flies and mosquito, which are carriers of illnesses after breathing on the solid waste. With regards to mosquitoes, we know besides feeding on the dead fish, they find sewage, rainwater, tires, cans, and other objects to be ideal breeding grounds. They also carry spread diseases such as malaria and dengue. On the other hand, for instance, rats continue their massive infestation on such facilities and the sewage system. They also harm crops, spread diseases such as leptospirosis and salmonellosis. Apart from this, improper waste disposal can also have adverse health effects on humans as over the years it has been responsible for causing several diseases and in some cases even death. So next, I will be explain on the effects of improper solid waste management towards the water quality. A water pollutant is a chemical or physical substances present in excessive level that capable causing harm to living organisms. The chemical hazards are the copper, lead and nitrate, etc. As the public health concern, the groundwater should be free from the physical and chemical hazards. The people in around the dumping sites are depending upon the groundwater for drinking and other domestic purposes. Uncollected solid waste can also resulting in the forming of stagnant water bodies that become the breeding ground of diseases such as malaria, diarrhea and cholera. Certain chemicals, if released untreated, are highly toxic and exposure can lead to disease or death. It is reported that urban centers of Philippines produce tons of solid waste per day, and in almost all the cities, unscientific disposal of solid waste has created environmental pollution. The many effects of the decomposition of waste include the interference with the aquatic plant creation, the influence of fish and other animals' reproduction behaviors, and also depletion of dissolved oxygen water. So next, I will be explain on the effects of improper solid waste management towards the air quality. The solid waste create several noxious gases such as suspended sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen and carbon monoxide, and etc. As we know, the smoke from the incineration of the dump site is an important source of air pollution for people who are living far away from it. In developing countries, solid waste is mainly characterized by high density and moisture content, which when undergoes anaerobic decomposition in the landfills, leading to the production of landfill gas. Rotting food and other decaying organic waste allows methane and carbon dioxide to seep out of the ground and up to the air. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas and can itself be a danger because it is flammable and potentially explosive. Carbon dioxide is the most widely produced greenhouse gas because it traps heat in the atmosphere and contributing to the climate change. So that's all from me for the effects of the improper solid waste management towards the public health, towards the air quality and water quality. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Farah Wahida binti Muhammad Rasdi. Now I will proceed with my part, which is solution. The first solution is rules and regulation. Regulation for waste generation and disposal have already been in the forefront in waste management, with deadline playing a critical role. Rule and regulation, it consists the principle of polluters pay principle, whereby this policy stated that those who cause waste should pay for its management in order to avoid harmful for people, health and also the environment. The polluters pay theory has been extended more explicitly to greenhouse gas emission that cause climate change, whereby this guideline that governs sustainable growth worldwide, which are formally known as the 1992 Rio Declaration. This declaration is actually embraced where emission penalties are used. This philosophy believes that those who create environment externalities should internalize them. Firms are provided an opportunity to reduce emission production and or offer treatment for pollution created by internalizing the cost of pollution. The second solution is effective disposal waste management, whereby a good waste management would ensure that landfills are strategically placed to make waste collection, transfer and control or recycling to make it easier. Instead of implementing successful recycling and waste control system, waste collection and also treatment service, as well as state funding, have tended to focus more on myopic and quick solution. As the result, effective disposal waste management can provide better solution to a variety of waste-related issues. It means that modern and cost-effective building are gradually improved in order to promote better environmental protection standard. The third solution is recycling, whereby it consists of reuse, reduce, and recycle. Recycling has many advantages, including the reduction of waste sent to landfill and incinerators, as well as the conservation of natural resources and can save the energy by EPA 2018. When these 3R are implemented and followed consistently, more focus should be put on responsible resources usage with the aim of avoid pollution, increase recycling and reduce waste. Avoidance and waste control strategies include activities like repairing defective goods rather than buying a new one, or reuse the used item and also create recycle and recyclable materials. As a result of these strategies, the emphasis have shifted upstream, solving the issue from the start. This begins with waste design, prevention, eliminating both the volume and uses of toxic chemical, minimizing and reusing materials whereby the residual do exist, maintaining them concentrated and isolated to protect the environment with their capacity for recycling and generation. So the key point is to change the terminology from waste disposal to waste control and from waste to resources by Unit 2015. So we need to moving forward toward a circular economy, whereby we need to change our terminology from waste disposal to waste control and from waste to resources. That's all from me. Thank you.
Problems of solid waste management can happen to every country, especially because the management requires cooperation from every level, including lower level, which is individual behavior, to top management, which is rules and regulations. If there is no good cooperation between every level, where each of them should play their roles, that is when problems will occur. Plus, rapid population makes it more difficult to control, since it will increase the amount of waste produced by each individual at the end of the day. Rapid population brings towards modernization and sustainable development, where it can be seen that most developing countries are facing the same problem. Thus, awareness of solid waste management impacts from development seem to be still low, as it is regarding mentality and behavior of an individual. Effects from this poor solid waste management are various, including concerning public health. When this issue not being solved properly, they are exposed to the dirty environment, which can smell the bad odor, no clean water, attract many pests that bring diseases such as leptospirosis, cholera, and other vector-borne diseases. The problem starts with poor solid waste management, finally affecting other things that will cause even more when it is need to overcome the main problem. To conclude, it is important that issue on solid waste management should be exposed and being taught since primary level by knowing how to manage waste. These include 3 R's that being mentioned always on recycle, reuse, reduce, and waste separation. Not to mention, government also must ensure that the practical usage of regulations and laws are implemented, not as a barrier for residents to engage in proper waste management processes. Making successful of any implementation for every levels, and also most important, sacrificing environment for the sake of modernization should not be proud of, as environment is what that makes people stay alive. Okay.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you so much for listening.